Hi guys, welcome back to Belle's Books. I'm Carly and today I want to talk to you about what I want to read for Non-Fiction November. Now, you've probably heard of Non-Fiction November. It is a month-long readathon during the month of November when you are encouraged to read more non-fiction than you normally would. So if you generally don't read non-fiction, then reading one non-fiction book, you will complete the challenge. I generally read a fair amount of non-fiction. Most of it, to be fair, is to do with my PhD, so it's academic stuff. So there's that, but I have a big stack of books here that I want to talk to you about. Some of them are my TBR, and some of them are recommendations. So I will link the hosts' channels and all the details about Non-Fiction November in the description box below. There are 4 prompts which I have forgotten. I think they are something like time, movement, buzz, and something else. But I haven't really worked out what books that I'm picking are relating to these prompts. Anyway, so let me start with, where is it? There is a group read, which I think is the first time they've done this. So the group read is The Yellow House by Sarah M. Broom. This is a memoir, and it sounds really fascinating actually. So it's a memoir, but it's also the history of Sarah's family, and I think she goes back through various generations to tell the history of her family over 100 years, and particularly her family in this house, which is in New Orleans. So it just sounds fascinating. And this, I think they're doing a chapter a day, but again I'll link that in the description box below. So I'm really excited to be doing a group read along for this one, so that's exciting. Woo. Oh, actually, one thing I did want to mention was because this book is set in New Orleans and it mentions the effect of Hurricane Katrina, because I think the house was destroyed in Hurricane Katrina. As a side recommendation, I would recommend 5 Days at Memorial by Sheri, Fink. Now, disclaimer, I haven't finished this. I started reading this for my book club ages ago. It was our book club pick, but as you can see, it's quite large. I only got halfway through, but man alive, did it blow me away. So this book is written by a journalist, but she interviewed a lot of the doctors and nurses that were at this hospital in New Orleans as it was struck by Hurricane Katrina. And it's just fascinating because the first part looks at, it's almost taking you through minute by minute what happened when the hurricane hit. It's just like so traumatic because you're with these doctors and nurses as they're having to make these horrendous decisions about who stays alive, what to do, who to keep alive, because, you know, all the equipment was knocked out, they had no power, it was too hot, all of that kind of stuff. And they had to make decisions about who to save. And then the second part of the book, which I haven't read, which I really want to, so I'm kind of considering picking this back up in Non-Fiction November, is the aftermath of the decisions that they made. And like, because I think some of them got blamed for the people that died when it was obviously not their fault. So it's a fascinating look at what happens in times of crisis and the ethical decisions and who is to blame for things that go wrong. So yes, would highly recommend this. The writing is really easy to read as well. Okay, next, I really want to get to In the Dream House by Carmen Machado. I know this has been all over BookTube. It's a bit of a darling, and I'm just really intrigued. Sorry, I'm watching my candle in the background there. It's flickering rather fast. I'm really intrigued by the style of this because it's written in kind of vignettes, and I think they've all got different styles. So some of the chapters are very small. Some of them, like that, just one line. And so this is looking at a queer relationship that had like domestic abuse, I think, or domestic violence particularly at the heart of it. And I think she's looking back on it and reassessing that relationship through various different styles of writing. So I'm really intrigued to get to this because I'm particularly interested in experimental writing. not necessarily fiction, non-fiction as well. So yeah, and this isn't a big book, so I really want to read this in November. If you've read it, talk to me in the comments below, because I would like to know more about this. Okay, then another one high on my priority list is Funny Weather, Art in an Emergency by Olivia Laing. Bloody love Olivia Laing. Love her. I love her writing. This is a collection of like essays, but it's kind of broken down into different sections. I'll just show you, because so the first section is like artist lives. So she talks about various different artists. We've got like Georgia O'Keeffe. I love Georgia O'Keeffe. And Derek Jarman, and lots of other people that I don't know. So that's quite fascinating to me, because art is not something that I am massively familiar with. I like certain artists, and they're the ones I know, and so it'd be quite interesting to read about other people. She's got several essays, and then she's got like interviews with people. Like one of the things I have read in this is her interview with Ali Smith, because they're actually like kind of related by marriage. So she talked to Ali Smith, and that was the immediate thing that I read for my PhD, because I'm writing about Ali Smith in my PhD. And then she's got a section on reading, so she talks about several different books. Again, one of those is my one of the books I'm studying for my PhD, The Argonauts by Maggie Nelson, and The Cost of Living by Deborah Levy. I love that book. So it's just really interesting to get her. She's got such a fascinating take on things. I just love her writing. It's just so easy to read. So this. Also, side recommendations on Olivia Laing. To the River is the first book that I read by her, and I bloody love it. Again, it blew my mind. So this is basically about a journey that Olivia took down the River Ouse, kind of from source to the sea. So it's part memoir, because she's talking about her own personal experience after a breakup. It's part a look at landscape and our connection with it, particularly rivers, and how rivers feature in literature and folklore and mythology. She goes to the place where Virginia Woolf drowned herself, so there's a discussion about Virginia Woolf and where she lived, and obviously her connection with the river. And it's just like, it's like reading a novel. It's so deftly done. She touches on so many different themes and topics, but I can't tell you guys, I just love this book so much. It's just like reading just something so beautiful. I just want you to read it. Please just go and read it. Okay. And similarly, another one of hers that I haven't read is The Lonely City, which is I think about her time living in New York when she was in her 30s, and she was alone a lot of the time. So this is a discussion about loneliness, particularly when you're in a place that's as busy as New York and as crowded. So you could be around a lot of people, but you can still feel very lonely. So this is another one that I would like to get to very soon. Okay, then I mean, most of these are essay collections that I've got here. I've got a couple of books on feminism. Let's talk about those. So one that I have already started is Invisible Women by Criado Perez. Now, I started reading this because I wanted to use some of it in my PhD chapter, which I did. So where am I? I'm only 92 pages in. So I would like to finish this, because I did find it actually really fascinating, but I put it down because I was only using it to reference. This is a look at the gender bias within like day-to-day living, the way that the world is designed for men, and therefore women are put at advantage because of the way that it's designed. So this looks at all kinds of things, from like town planning to healthcare systems, and like crash test dummies, all of that kind of stuff. And it looks at the way that it's been designed for men, and therefore puts women at a disadvantage. Fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. And the writing style is really easy to read. And so I want to finish this by the end of the year. So I should really crack on with that. Okay, go up there. I've got a big pile of books that is threatening to topple. Then I have Feminism Interrupted, Disrupting Power by Lola Olufemi. This was recommended to me by one of my lovely writing group girls. And again, it's only short, but this is a look at the way that kind of feminism has been almost like overtaken by capitalism as like a gimmick. So it's going back to the issues that we should be looking at when we're talking about feminism, not just wearing feminist on your t-shirt. So she talks about violence against women, reproductive justice, trans misogyny, sex work, gendered Islamophobia, all important issues. And it's this was only just published, I think it was 2019, was it? So it's a very contemporary look at what feminism means today. No, 2020, it was published this year. So yes, I would very much like to get to this. And like I say, it's only small, so it shouldn't take me too long. Okay, then I have two more essay collections that have been high on my priority list. Coventry by Rachel Cusk. I love Rachel Cusk. Now, she has written a series of fiction books which are kind of well known for being a bit experimental. Have not read them yet, and I do want to. So this essay collection, I think, looks at art, particularly writing. So it's, and also memoir, so it blends it with, it says encompassing memoir and cultural and literary criticism with pieces on gender, politics, and she looks at various different writers. This is my thing. Why haven't I read this yet? I don't know, I bought it ages ago. So this, I would like to read this as well. This is too many for 1 month. I know I'm not going to get through them all. Another one that I bought and was super excited about, or I got this for my birthday, I think, Recollections of My Non-Existence by Rebecca Solnit. Bloody love Rebecca Solnit. I know I'm saying that about all of them, but I do. Yeah, Rebecca Solnit. Oh, I love her writing. And I think, again, this is a slightly a memoir piece. So she's looking back at her life and reflecting, again, on feminism and just the way that culture has changed. And this traces Rebecca Solnit's life, and it tracks it against the way that feminism has developed and the way that the historical moments that have taken place within feminism and the way that culture has changed. So again, another fascinating essay collection that I want to get to very soon. Okay, I've got two books that I have started that I want to finish. Don't Touch My Hair by Emma Dabiri. I started this, it was a library copy and I had to give it back. And I was really enjoying it, so I went and bought it. And I can't remember where I was. Like, I was only like a few pages in. But this is a fascinating look at racism and how it's perpetuated through like objectification, fetishization of black women's hair, and it's fascinating. It was just fascinating. It captivated me immediately. So I really do want to finish this in November. And like my aim is to, with all the books that I have started, try and get those finished. Then I can just like get those out the way. But this was, it started off incredible. So, and I've heard loads of good things about this. And the next one was Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me, which is like a lyrical, it's like a letter that he wrote to his son, again about racism in America, looking back on his own personal experiences and like saying that he hopes his son doesn't have the same issues, but he knows he will, because nothing's really changed when it comes to how racist America is. And this was, again, beautifully written. I'm only 32 pages in. I don't know whether to start this again, actually, because it has such a beautiful rhythm to it that I feel like I want to get into it from the beginning, and it's not long. So this, I must finish this. All right, guys, we're nearly there. Another one that I started and didn't finish is The Gender Games by Juno Dawson. And again, I was really enjoying this. I love Juno Dawson's writing style. It's so easy to read. It's kind of conversational and really funny. This is a look at gender from the position of someone that has been both genders. So Juno is a trans woman, and she's talking about her life as a boy and then as a woman. So yeah, it's looking at gender and how we are brought up to perform as in our gender roles, and how unnecessary it is. And it was just fascinating, and just like I said, really easy to read. So I want to try and finish this one as well. Memoir of a Witch. I've spoken about this before, initiated by Amanda Yates Garcia. Dan's put his hand in to say my dinner's ready. Is my dinner ready, Dan?
It's dishing up now.
Oh, he's dishing up now. Well, good, because we're nearly at the end. Thank you. I wasn't sure whether I was going to carry on with this. I'm still not sure. What I might do is give it another chapter, and if it's still a bit too gross, which was my only issue, is that it was a kind of a bit full on, then I will DNF it, because I need to make a decision with this one, because I'm not far in, 74 pages in. So I'll try a chapter of this, I think, and then I'll make a decision whether I want to carry on with it. Man alive, that's all of the books. It's a lot of books for non-fiction November. I'm not going to read all of them. I read very slowly. So my priority is to finish the ones that I have already started. But I really want to read In the Dream House and Funny Weather. And obviously do the group read. Oh, too much. I can never decide. Anyway, tell me what you think about these books. Have you read any of them? Which ones would you suggest that I go with? Which one would you suggest that I prioritise? Because I am not going to get through all of these. Talk to me in the comments below, and I will see you very soon for another video. Bye guys.